Hi guys, everything cool with you? Here we are with the second episode of the saga, The Origin of Zeno. I know you're anxious to know what will happen, but don't be in a hurry. I guarantee that today's video will be epic. But first we have to say a few things so that we can finally continue with this video. If you like these videos and really like to follow along, I ask that you leave a like on the video, as much as it is annoying to ask. However, it helps a lot in the performance of the channel and motivates us to always bring amazing content for you. That said, after the recap of the last episode of the saga, you will have the new episode. In the last episode of the saga, we see how it was in the beginning. Before creation, there were only two races that battled each other to see who would get the Nexus, which is an unimaginable source of absolute power. The Ramujins are a race in which Zeno and his family are a part. The Bakujins are an ancestral race of the Namekians and can also be known as the Golden Namekians. So in the midst of the war of the races, Ozem and Zalama appeared. Two warriors of rival races who have banded together with the goal of using the Nexus to end the war once and for all. So both warriors warred against the king of the two races, when suddenly the Nexus appeared in the middle of the battle. So turn off the lights in your room and grab your lunch because today's episode is starting. The king of the Ramujins turns to the Nexus admiringly and says, "Finally, I have the power to conquer everything. The power in the palm of my hands," exclaimed King Ramujin maliciously as he watched the Nexus sphere. But the king of the Bakujin interrupts him and then says, "You fool, and who said you're going to keep the power of the Nexus? You will never touch that power. Just me. Me," shouted King Bakujin, trying to catch the sphere. But as soon as he approached, the sphere reacted and began to shine brightly, and a female voice echoed through the place. The sweet voice said, "I don't see good intentions in you, which means you are not worthy," said the Nexus sphere. After saying that, the sphere eliminated the two kings at the same time so that they simply disappeared as they were extinct from existence. Zalama and Ozem were admiring the power of the Nexus. The eyes of both warriors shone with delight, but they soon realized that they could be the next to be killed, and they knelt down helplessly before the Nexus. The Nexus floated up to the frightened warriors Zalama and Ozem and said softly, "I see bravery and good intentions in both of you, so I will deem you worthy of receiving a wish each," said the Nexus, leaving the warriors impressed and very grateful to the compassion of the entity. Then Zalama and Ozem looked at each other and nodded their heads. Ozem said, "That's more than enough. We can think about what we're going to ask for since we have time and the kings have been defeated," said Ozem, turning to his ally. Zalama then said, "What if we ask for omnipotence and omniscience?" questioned Zalama to Ozem. Ozem disagrees. "We don't need this. Remember what the goal was, and don't let greed get the best of you." Zalama responds, "But then all our goals would come true." After Zalama says that, Ozem puts his hand on Zalama's shoulder and says, "I'm sure there's a simpler way to do this. Don't risk your dignity," Ozem said, leaving Zalama slightly frustrated. After much thought, Zalama and Ozem reached a conclusion that would be good and fair for all beings of the Bakujin and Ramujin warrior races. Zalama then says, "I want to have a power that is enough to protect my people and the people that exist," exclaimed Zalama, determined. Then Ozem shouted, "I want the two people to live in prosperity with each other," wished Ozem. The Nexus then said, "If it is what you wish, it will be done," said the Nexus, disappearing, while a huge flash lit the vision of the warriors. Time passed after Ozem and Zalama's wishes, and over time the two races became accustomed to living in harmony and safety. Because of the wishes of the two brave warriors, both the Bakujins and the Ramujins managed to live in prosperity, and as time went by, new races derived from these two originals emerged and followed the same prosperous path of peace and harmony. Ozem, with his bravery and lucidity, was recognized as the newest leader of all races, but still maintained his strong and faithful friendship with Zalama, who helped him in his duty as leader, and protected innocent civilians from any evildoer that threatened peace. Among the people with the power he desired, Ozem's wife, who was previously pregnant, was now about to give birth to Ozem's first child. The woman apparently wasn't in so much pain, but was clearly bothered. Ozem stayed close by to give support, and Zalama stayed outside waiting and protecting Ozem's palace, since he was invited by his great and faithful friend Ozem. While waiting for him, Zalama became thoughtful and began to envy his friend, with whom he had battled for so long. As Ozem had a united family and had become the leader of all races, and in Zalama's view, Ozem had stayed with all merit. Even though Zalama, who was of great help, hardly gets credit for such a feat. In Zalama's opinion, he should be recognized as the hero as much as Ozem was, and should have as much authority and leadership spirit as Ozem has. Zalama then grumbles shortly, "That wretch is having a son." And I'm waiting while Ozem wins all the applause of the population. Ozem prevented me from having absolute power because he feared my power. That's the truth. Ozem will pay, and I'll get what I deserve, even if I have to take everything Ozem has, Zalama whispered, thinking of a Machiavellian idea. On the other side of the wall where Zalama was leaning, the baby had been just born, with a high-pitched, irritating cry. Parents happy to see their first child expressed their pride at the birth of their son, and the wife of the leader of the Ozem races said to her son, "Welcome to the world, my love. Your father and I are very proud of you. We love you, and we will take care of you with all the affection in the world." Before she could finish speaking, Ozem interrupts her with a smile. "That's right, and try to respond to our love with respect and obedience so that we never fight," said Ozem, completely holding the child in his arms. The party continues and the child falls asleep, but by the time Ozem goes outside to show his youngest son to his friend Zalama, he is not where he should be. Worried, Ozem decides to give his son to his wife and leaves to look for Zalama, but the wife tries to stop him. "You can't go. What if something dangerous happens? I don't want my son to grow up without a father," said the wife, quite worried. Ozem just smiled. Then Ozem said, "That's exactly why I must go. If it's something dangerous, my good friend could be in trouble, and I wouldn't forgive myself if I wasn't there to help him with everything I have," exclaimed Ozem, leaving in search of his friend Zalama. Looking for him for a few minutes, Ozem finds Zalama gathering his energy alone in a deserted field. Ozem tries to approach, but Zalama shouts, "Don't come any closer, my dear friend," said Zalama in a tone of anger and irony, which left Ozem confused with the situation. Zalama then continues his aura as it begins to take on the shape of a dragon. "I fought with you. I talked with you. I thought with you. We did everything together, but only you have the credit for our battle," said Zalama, transforming. His aura got a huge shape of a dragon and started to shine, transforming into energy and gaining the shape of a shiny dragon. Zalama continued, "So to be fair, if I can't have what you have, I will take everything from you." As soon as Zalama finished saying that, the dragon materialized and Ozem prepared for a difficult attack. Ozem was confused by the whole situation and realized that Zalama had been corrupted by negative feelings and that he was determined to fight his friend, even though that was what Ozem would not like. Ozem wielded his sword and using his energy, the key, Ozem loaded his sword and went after Zalama using a technique, teleportation. Ozem teleported and attacked the back of Zalama's head, who suffered only minor injuries. This worried Ozem, who narrowly dodged a huge blast of ki coming from Zalama. For a moment, Ozem lowered his guard and was attacked by a blow coming from Zalama's tail, which knocked Ozem to the ground with all his might. Ozem falls to the ground badly hurt and thinks to himself, "Damn it! At Zalama's current power level, I won't be able to win," thought Ozem, slightly sad, as he stood up once more wielding his sword. Ozem then pointed his sword at Zalama and shouted with all his might, saying, "I will not let you continue with your evil plans." Ozem shouted angrily, staring at Zalama. What will happen? Who will win this duel? Will Zalama kill Ozem because of his envy? Questions like these will only be answered in the next episode, because today's episode ends here. Hey guys, I know it's sad when today's video unfortunately ends, but don't worry because the next episodes are coming. If you liked it, don't forget to leave your like because it helps us a lot and motivates us to continue with these videos that you like so much. Comment your theories on what might happen in the next episode and share the video with your friends so you can watch it together. That's it. See you guys.